So, Poops, you may have heard, it would have been kind of hard to not hear, but Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is gone. Like, gone, gone. Like, not, I think he's gone. It's gone in the way of this right here. I'm not gonna go right ahead and read this right here. But anyway, I thought to go right ahead and do this live stream because I think that this is really like a world shaking event. Now, the hints that this would happen, I think, happened just yesterday when there was a huge strike, a huge, huge strike on Iran. Like, literally, there were gigantic bombs essentially that hit right in the middle of Tehran. And it was crazy to just hear the news that was coming out of that. But today we can see that there is a lot more that is actually happening right about now. And hello to all of you who have just popped by. Welcome, welcome. So, Tana, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to read that script right there. And you have also Randy, and you can see like a whole bunch of people like praising stuff right there. So welcome to the live stream. But I also want to know your thoughts, right? I want to know your thoughts. All right. The Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has passed away. Is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? I mean, because you have a lot of different opinions, right? And people maybe, well, sad about this, but some people might be, rejoicing. Like, I know that definitely it depends on like what kind of like media outlet you're reading, right? Like, if you're casually reading, like, I don't know, like New York Times or something like that, then like you always get like some Iranian people saying, yes, Hallel. Well, I mean, I don't know, like hallelujah, but like, well, you just have like people like rejoicing. But then like some people would then say that it's like bots and stuff like that. Bad thing. But let's add actually some other options as well. Very good thing, okay? And then very bad thing. Very bad thing. All right. Go, you filthy animals. Go right ahead and please vote. The Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has passed away. Is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? Good thing, bad thing, very good thing, very bad thing. This is what we've got right over here. I see a lot of people just casually like dancing away right here. But again, so on my part, right? So I'm not really here to like trivialize the death of the Ayatollah. I know that a lot of people actually have a lot of different opinions about this right here, but at least personally, right? What I'm gonna do in this live stream is I'm gonna be covering a couple of different topics, yeah? So what we know at the moment about the situation, the reaction, who the guy actually was, right? And then also, well, the relation to Malaysia and whether it is actually a Psy-Op. Because for all you know, like maybe it is a Psy-Op. Maybe he's not really dead. Maybe he like just moved somewhere far, far away and now he is just casually gone. But then, well, here's what we know about the whole situation right over there. We know that Donald Trump came up with this statement earlier this morning, but you know what? Like this looks boring right here. This like Truth Social thing. So you know we're gonna be looking at this instead. Khamenei is dead. USA hat. Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead. This is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans and those from many countries throughout the world that have been killed or mutilated by Khamenei and his gang of bloodthirsty thugs. You might have remembered that protesters in Iran were basically killed quite a lot in the past couple of weeks. And like that's kind of like an understatement, honestly. Like the numbers, like they were like varying. Some people were saying like 30,000, like 40,000, which is like basically, well, about like half or like two-thirds even of like the entire number of people that were officially confirmed, right, to have died essentially in the whole Gaza conflict. Now, they have essentially been going out, and when I say they, I mean like Iranian government, right? So that has been going out saying that no, this is all batu apis from the United States, Israel dan sekutu-kutu mereka itu. I mean, like if they were Malay, but they're not really Malay, but you get the picture. But anyway, they were saying that like this was all happening because it was all a psy-op kind of thing. And yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if people really feel that way right about now. But anyway, so then yeah. He was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems and working closely with Israel. There was not a thing he or the other leaders that have been killed along with him could do. This is the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country. We are hearing that many of their IRGC, military, and other security and police forces no longer want to fight and are looking for immunity from us. As I said last night, now they can have immunity. Later, they only get death. Hopefully, the IRGC and police will peacefully merge with the Iranian patriots and work together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. That process should be soon starting, in that not only the death of Khamenei, but the country has been in only one day very much destroyed and even obliterated. The heavy and pinpoint bombing, however, will continue uninterrupted throughout the week or as long as it is necessary to achieve our objective of peace throughout the Middle East and indeed the world. Thank you for attention. This matter. President Donald J. Trump. All right, well, that's a very classically Trump statement, high in bluster. Very much like, yes, we are the kings of the world right here. We're going out saving the world. Please give me a Nobel Peace Prize. And then, then you have like the Venezuelan opposition leader, Machado. Hey, it's okay, Trump, baby boy. Like, I'll give you that Nobel Prize. I'll dedicate it to you. Oh, that sort of thing right there. But seriously, though, I mean, if you actually look at what, in this case, the Trump administration accomplished, it is actually like pretty significant. I mean, I think it is actually the first time that, well, the US and Israel working together have actually ended up killing a head of state. Now, I'm not saying that that's a good thing necessarily, right? Because like there are like complicated questions of like ethics along the way. And of course, depending on who you support, right? Like some people they support Iran, some people like support like the United States, and some people they think that like, oh, if you don't support Iran, then you are a barwa kind of thing. There's so many different opinions. There's so many different opinions. But still, well, in the course of the attack, there was actually quite a fair bit of stuff that happened. But you know what? You know what? What Donald Trump says could be just complete BS. And yeah, like I'm sure that a lot of people actually like you think that, but well, when you've got this guy casually making a statement like this, then maybe your opinion might change a little bit right over there. Boom.
روح بلند و ملکوتی
Okay, what?
کوه
I'm sorry.
نستوه ولایت پدر مهربان امت رهبر و امام مسلمین حضرت آیت الله العظما سید علی حسینی خامنه ای در راه سربلندی حرم جمهوری اسلامی ایران شهد گوارای شهادت را نوشیدند و به ملکوت اعلی پیوستند.
All right. So if you didn't see me being visibly uncomfortable in that situation, I mean, I was actually uncomfortable like listening to that, but like he was, I don't know, like just singing praises like here and there. I mean, like yes, like the guy has passed away, but it's kind of interesting that that was the reaction. Well, anyway, like, what do people think? I mean, like, how are you feeling about this? Let's have a look at our little poll at the moment and see what people are saying. Wow, there are like 89 of you who are here right now. That's crazy. Okay, what do we have? There is a 46% count of those of you out there who say that this is a very good thing. So you can actually see that right there, 45%. Okay, maybe like a couple more people are, well, finally finding the humanity inside their hearts right there. Or maybe like, I don't know, like this got shared to like some sort of like Facebook page kind of thing, where some people are just casually like pointing out, yes, this is what happened kind of thing. But anyway, so you can see right here a whole bunch of like conversations right here with all of y'all. Very valid thoughts actually. So you've got a couple of things. They need their Shah back. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, Randy. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. I mean, the whole Shah thing is kind of like interesting because in fact, well, just about an hour ago, right? So then the Shah, well, the exile Prince Reza Pahlavi actually. So like he made a statement saying that this, meaning like what had just happened like very very recently, right, is actually the end of the republic. Like check it out right here, check it out, check it out. This is right here our favorite Iranian California boy. Well, I shouldn't say that. Like, you could actually be like the future leader of Iran, right over here, just casually rejoicing. And yeah, this is the sort of thing that's happening right there. And if you weren't following like the whole series of like things that were happening, what people were talking about, well, the prince actually was like a huge symbol. He is a huge symbol for the entire Iranian population to kind of like unite around, even as they go like protesting. And it's wow, it's pretty crazy. But you can see actually like there's a whole bunch of like rejoicing. And in non-article form, you've got also, well, a little bit of this right here from Straits Times. Yeah, so now I'm sure that some of you out there, perhaps as you're watching this, right, you're actually Iranian, you actually love the Ayatollah with all your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, and you are crying the same way that that announcer was crying, like on national television. I don't know if like maybe like there was a guy like standing behind him or something and just being all like, you must cry, you must cry. If you don't cry, then we'll get rid of your entire collection of, I don't know, like foreign countries from around the world kind of thing. I don't know, like maybe they were blackmailing him, or maybe like he just genuinely felt something. But anyway, like if you feel something, then by all means, like this is not meant to like gloat at the death of the Ayatollah. It's just meant to highlight, right, the kind of response that people have been giving out. But so let's talk about who we're saying bye to, right? And who Donald Trump correctly said, like, is now gone from the world, right? So the Ayatollah is the supreme or was the supreme leader of Iran, all right? So then that meant that he was like the literal highest leader of them all. Like, he, in fact, was the previous president of Iran, and like he was supreme leader, right, for like 36 years and 6 months. That's crazy. 36 years and 6 months. And also, by the way, for those of you who enjoy reading like US politics, you like are a frequent reader of like Politico or like a whole bunch of like other outlets out there, you know probably about this idea of like this axis of evil. Well, the leader of the axis of evil, so put right there. I don't know if you could call him like leader of the axis of evil, but like one of the great leaders of the axis of evil is now gone. And that is like super significant, right? Because like for those of you who don't know, right, like he was basically like always going on, right? For the longest time, basically like arguing against alleged like US imperialism, against alleged colonialism, and a whole bunch of other things like that. It was crazy to like just think that somebody of such legend, right, who basically created and formed, right, like this entire architecture involving like the IRGC, like if for those of you who don't know, right, like Iran's, well, supreme military force is basically called the IRGC, and that is the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, right? So they control the vast majority of like the military power of the state of Iran. So then, like this guy right here, who basically, well, was a successor, right, of the late Khomeini, in turn was such a figure, right, of legend and so many other things right here. So many times so many times people tried to assassinate him, but he stood defiant. He basically just did not capitulate in any way right over there. And there were so many other things that happened along the way that it just makes you wonder to yourself, right? Like, wow, like how could this have happened right here? And even now, like maybe he really did run away. Maybe like the Israelis are quote unquote lying as usual, as some of these people might say. Well, by the way, like just I don't know, like putting out like a picture of like a gigantic nose or something, and then saying, well, well, well. I don't know. I've been getting like really familiar with like all this stuff right here. I see it like basically all of the time. And by the way, Sapoops, by the way, Sapoops, right now we are having a nice little discussion about this on our Discord. I'm gonna share the link in the chat right now. Pop by to our Discord, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you right over there. Hello, Sudarsono. Yeah, lots of like interesting discussions are going on right over here, and I'm gonna go right ahead and send the link right in the chat. Okay, great. Anyway, so how are people doing and how are you feeling at the moment? So, link to the Discord is right over here. I'm gonna see if I can pin it right there. Yes, I know that some of y'all out there are gonna give me shit for saying Iran or Iran. Iran, 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 Iran. I'm sorry, I don't know. But anyway, the message is basically pinned at the moment, and you can go right ahead and join the Discord at any time you wish, and let's hang out. Let's hang out. Let's hang out, Sapoops. Anyway, so some people are saying that, well, it is not Iran, Iran, but instead Persia. You know, I would actually play the Prince of Persia. Did anybody play Prince of Persia, by the way? Like, yeah, because like I was like literally thinking like right after this whole incident happened, right? That like, yeah, like you could basically have like the Prince of Persia theme play, but I don't want to get like copyright strike. So like maybe not. But like literally, you know, like when you think of the whole situation of Iran, Iran. Yeah, I'm never gonna get it right. I'm never gonna get it right. Like, you know, like an honor that you're here watching this live stream, but like, you know, like pronunciation is not one of my strong suits. So like, it's okay. It's okay. Like there'll be people much better than me at any given time, but your presence is much valued. But what I can say is, yo, like imagine right here, like those of you who used to play Prince of Persia, right? Basically, like the real life Prince of Persia is basically Pahlavi at the moment, and like it's kind of like, yo, like he actually won. I don't know if like you can imagine like Reza Pahlavi holding a knife or something. It's like, yo, like if we actually like have like this guy compared to this guy right over there, right? Like I feel like there is no comparison. You know, like you don't have like the knife, you don't have the muscles or anything like that. This guy is not that guy. But you know, if he stands a symbol of hope for you, then by all means. But anyway, so when we think really about like this whole situation right here, I think like the reactions, right, have been like pretty well extreme across the world. And maybe let's start with something a little more close to well the United States for now, because like when you think of like what's happening right here, the vast majority of people in the US, right, who are Republican, like they support the strikes on Iran. Okay. Now, on the other hand, like if you are a Democrat, on the other hand, then like there's a good chance that you haven't actually said like very much about it. I don't know, like if you're the standard issue, unless of course like you're the standard issue. Well, this guy you might have seen right over there. Doot, 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 doot. Yep, this is what you've got. Zoran! This is what you've got right over there. Opening a new theater of war. Americans do not want this. They do not want another war in pursuit of regime change. They want relief from the affordability crisis. They want peace. And that is what is going on right here. And he is speaking directly to Iranian New Yorkers. You're part of the fabric of this city. You are our neighbors, blah, 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 blah. You will be safe here. I'm like, bro, Zoran, Zoran, okay. Now, I don't know if you know Zoran, but like, do you know that life is complicated? You know, like sometimes in order for you to actually be safe, you need to actually like stop an aggressor. Now, of course, like some of you out there are going to say that like, hey, the guy is not actually an aggressor. That is all like Zionist media BS and stuff of that nature right over there. But you know, if you're just casually saying that every single thing out there is like, I don't know, quote unquote, like Zionist media, like so to speak, then like I don't know, like where are we gonna go? Like at the end of the day, it's kind of like an interesting question that you might like want to ask around. But yeah, so like that's one reaction, right? But like we have more, we have more, namely, namely from even closer to home, and like this time like my home, in Malaysia. And for those of you who are watching, by the way, from overseas, so welcome to my channel. My name is Victor, and I make content about politics and basically anything that I find to be interesting around the world. Namely, today, well, a goodbye, right, to Ali Khamenei, who he was, and etc. So yeah, if we look a lot closer to home, we can see that this is what we've got right over there. See that? Okay, great. Boom. As expected. And for those of you who don't know who Hadi Awang is, which is a possibility given that we now have so many of you who are like from overseas, like on the live stream at the moment. So then, yeah, he is the president of PAS, right? So then that's Parti Islam Sel Malaysia. So it's a so-called Harakat movement, but in reality, so Harakat means like, I don't know, like quote unquote Islamic movement kind of thing, inspired, right, by Iranian Revolution of 1979, which in turn, well, catalyzed the spread of like what we call like Islamist politics around the world, right? And there's a whole story behind that, but let's go back to our good old Hadi Awang's response for a quick bit. And we are definitely not going to read every single. Oh, okay, it's not that long. Okay, I'm surprised because like normally like he writes like long ass like statuses like to the point that it's like a full on well novel like in his Facebook. But anyway, this is what you've got right over there. Okay, so PAS condemns attacks by the US and Israel that have claimed the life of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran. So then, strategic locations in Iran, including sites associated with the nation's highest leadership, clearly violating the norms of universal justice and threatening the country's security, stability, and sovereignty. Well, this is kind of interesting. I mean, like, when you talk about like universal justice, I don't know, like, do you not remember Hadi Awang when you basically just said that people who are non-Muslim must just be pak turut? Do you call that universal justice? I don't know, by the way, like if you remember the whole series of actions that your party has taken, and that somehow or another, right? Like you seem to forget, like every single time, short-term memory. Like you expect us to forget when you basically have Dr. Sam become the pengerusi of PN. You expect us to forget, right? The moment you go out there and you attend like a funeral or something like that, and you expect us to forget, basically, when you basically scream out, pass for all. It's so interesting. Like, but we don't forget. We never forget because like it is just something that's like literally like survival related that we remember that like you are the furthest person away from justice in any meaningful way. Bro, but the point is that this guy is like basically like inspired, so to speak, by the supreme leader of Iran and like what happened in the Iranian Revolution and the links that you can actually see to all of that, right, can be casually seen right over here on our GOAT, our greatest of all time Reddit user, JWTO. Look at this right here. So, why most non-Muslims here cannot accept PAS? Non-Muslims are Zionists. They are the root of corruption. You must be grateful for being given a place here. You should vote for us to fulfill Jihad Fardu Ain, as other races are challenging Muslim political power. And this is what it is. You can see literally here, there, and everywhere, right? That this is basically like that whole our way or the highway. If you are basically not like part of us, then you surely must like not like try to like fight us. 你不要顶我们. Don't go against us, okay? Jangan cakap banyak tak sedar diri, kafir harbi or something of that nature right there, which by the way, I don't actually like intend to say as like an insult, but it's just more of like this is what they say like day in and day out while they are casually like oppressing people. I wonder if it is similar to what happens in Iran with the whole like protester thing. But of course, that is perhaps for more Iranians to actually like comment on and understand. But anyway, so this guy right over here, our hero of the world, Hadi Awang, is casually saying, "This is so sad. Like, why could this happen?" And I'm seeing right now that like 9%, so like 39% of you are saying that this is a good thing, right? 6% of you are saying that it's bad, 11% very bad. Okay, fine. So 17%, 18% of you. Okay, fine. This is not a complete echo chamber, right? But yeah, so like to those of you who think that this is a really bad thing, right? So then like why? Why do you think that this is a bad thing? Right. I want to hear your takes, right? I want to understand like your actual point of view. And those of you who basically are saying that like it's a very good thing, right? Like why do you think that it's a very good thing? All right, now what do we have right here? Some comments which are kind of like interesting right here. You're saying, can we not charge Hadi Awang for treason? It's not really that easy. He is a huge batu api that Malaysia can do without. The thing is, right? So like I think that like in Malaysia, right? So we deal with well, the things that we can actually deal with, if you have basically something like PAS, right, where you have like multiple millions of members, like they are going to go and protest and they will basically disrupt the country. So, like, in my opinion, right? So then, if you really want to challenge like what happened with PAS, I don't think that you, well, should necessarily do it, right, by, I don't know, like detaining him for treason or stuff like that. Although I guess like some people will unavoidably be like thinking that he's such a supporter of the Ayatollah and considering the way that the Ayatollah, yeah. Well, but anyway, like that's a problem for other people to like think about. It's something to consider. But yeah, I don't think that he can actually be like arrested for like treason or anything like that. I think he just wants a vision of Malaysia that is incompatible, right, with the vision of our founding fathers and with Iran as well, right? So, like, the Iranian Revolution, like, that was like a huge thing. You have to understand, like, it was a huge thing. And it wasn't just like something that actually affected, right, like what was happening in Iran, right? It literally ended up like shaping like Islamist politics like around the world. Although I think that that's actually kind of like interesting and ironic to think about right over there because yeah, I don't know if you know this, but let's let's think about yeah, this whole idea right here of Iran being Sasat. I'm sorry. But this is literally something that we've been talking about like quite a fair bit, right? But like some people in Discord have been saying that Iran is Sesat. When I say Sesat, what I mean by that is that they are Shia. And like in Malaysia, we follow a different type of religion, all right? So then, for those of you who aren't like really aware of the way that I am articulating this at the moment, or why they would be Sesat, maybe like you are like Hadi Awang, and like you are just casually saying, "Hey, like you know, like our our brothers and sisters in the Ummah have been destroyed. No, this is horrible. It's an act of aggression. It goes against universal justice." Kind of thing right there. Well, yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but technically that is supporting like what you would call like a Sasat movement. It's literally like in like all consideration, in all like evaluation of what we know, like supporting a Sasat movement. Okay, but like you can see right here that something uh well shared really by R7 the guy, right? Who by the way is Muslim, right? So like this gentleman right here was casually saying that, hey, this is actually well a situation where you've got like Sasat people along the way, right? So yeah, I mean like there are by the way like a lot of people who are like actually Malay like on my server. So we don't really listen to Dugam for those of you who are like Matram Pits or whatever have you right there. So like well we're not gonna be listening to Dugam, although I might actually like end up playing that because I signed up for a DJ course recently. But like you can actually see right, like literally like all of these people, every single person is like a Muslim, and you can see that this is what is going on right there, the whole discussion, and I appreciate R7 the guy's contributions. Thank you for sharing all of that. But yeah, now like if you actually look at the what's going on right there from a chat GPT perspective, so then apparently, right? And like those of you who are Muslim, so then maybe then you can actually like share a little bit more on this, right? But we are part of what we call the Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah. All right. So then like what is actually going on right there is that we have a different ideology. We have a different value system, apparently. So then like I believe that it was a sort of like split, right? In terms of like who would actually be the legitimate successor of the prophet, right? And in Malaysia, right, like we tend to like keep a very tight ship on like that interpretation right there. And basically Shia is not accepted. And yeah, this is like kind of like interesting to note right there. And I should also note, right, that like when you think about like past, right, and how they were inspired, right, by Iran. So it's not really like, oh, they are Shia. I'm not saying that they are Shia, right? But like you can actually see like this idea of, well, yeah, like how past actually ended up getting like revolutionary imagination and like a whole bunch of like different things out there. And yeah, this is actually what you have got right over there. But yeah, so when you think about like what's happening with the supreme leader basically being gone, right? Like it doesn't mean, by the way, that the entire architecture of Iran is gone. You still have the IRGC. You still have like a whole lot of people, right, who are a part of that, right? Like so, some people would then say, in the common parlance, even if you get rid of the Ayatollah, 1,000 Ayatollahs will come up. And like some other people, okay, like some other like really common comments that I have seen would be like, oh, he was already 86 years old. Surely he has a replacement. And yeah, like you can actually see like a lot of people like really talking about like possible candidates for that. Like for example, his billionaire son. I believe like there was like, actually like quite a lot of discussion about that like a while ago of Mojtaba. And yeah, so like this is what actually is going on right there. Maybe he might be like the successor to the supreme leader, but you see the thing is, right, that he is actually also at the moment, right, well, this good old owner of property, like he has a lot of money, and like basically like when you think about like the sheer amount of money these people, oh, he's been named as Iran's new supreme leader. Is that right? Okay, that's interesting. I had not been aware of this, but like here's a fun fact for you. Like if you think about like Mojtaba at the moment, right? The guy actually has like properties all over the world. So like when you think really about like what is actually going on right there, it just makes you wonder, right? Like is he gonna have the credibility, right? Like if you are literally well affiliated with the supreme leader and then like you just have like a whole lot of money like overseas kind of thing. So then like the question naturally is gonna be like, how did that actually happen? And like when you think about it, like maybe, right? Like what's gonna happen is that well, people can't actually do anything about it, even if they have a very strong opinion. Like that is actually like one of the benefits of being a supreme leader. Like, you know, like people don't question you, you know, like they don't actually like say anything that goes against your interests, so to speak. And like this is actually like interesting. I mean, like you can really like look at what is going on right over there. And you can do like some research into it. It's pretty interesting. So much about like crypto, about like overseas property empires and corruption and so on and so forth. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. But then, you know, there's a very interesting question right there, which is like how, in the first place, right, did the US and Israel know about where the Ayatollah was going to be, right? Have you ever considered that? Like, how did they know? And at this point, I guess like, you know, some people are going to be going all like, oh, Barua, ooh, like pengkhianat, ooh, negara Arab semua lemah, or the Arabic countries are all weak. They don't know what to do. They can't do anything. How horrible. What is going on? That type of thing right there. But well, I mean, it is now, as we know, like what it is. So, but yeah, like what are people saying at the moment? Yeah, does the son really want to go down the same path of his father? Well, I don't know if he actually wants to do that. I mean, like, if you think about it, if you have an overseas property empire, right? So then, like, what that suggests, right, is that you literally like build. like a plan for overseas, right? And like when you say that like you have an overseas property empire, right? So like people don't just like I don't know, like get money for the sake of like just getting money kind of thing, right? Like they get money so that they can have like a better standard of living kind of thing. Obviously that kind of like stops, like after a while, right? It's kind of like, like if you imagine on the x-axis, right? Like you have like basically a like an X that says money, right? And speaking of which, right? So then like if you want to contribute to my work, you can go right ahead and do so using the QR code down below. But like, okay, like let me just like articulate this, right? So like imagine that you basically have like an x-axis, like the amount of money that you have, right? And then on the y-axis, then you have like the amount of satisfaction that you actually have in life, right? So then you can actually expect like a curve that's like kind of like this. It's kind of like exponential at first, but then later, right? Then it ends up like sort of like becoming asymptotic. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that, right? Is that like, like if you don't have enough money, right? So then like basically you are going to be like suffering. Like basically your happiness is like negative if that's like possible kind of thing. But like, once you have like a little bit of money, like enough, right, to survive, then like your happiness like immediately goes up. Like you have the basics for human life. Like you can study, you can learn, you can like use the internet. Like even somebody on like middle income, like I was from a middle income family, right? Before I ended up getting a scholarship to go to like one of the most famous universities in the world, right? And like I'm not like a super like rich person or anything like that, right? Like I receive essentially like clients, I work with people on the SAT and like a whole range of other things as well, right? But at the end of the day, so to speak, you would not call me like dynastically rich or anything like that. And yeah, so this content basically continues by your generosity. But and now I'm gonna like just turn off the QR for a moment. So if you haven't already, then like go right ahead, take a picture. If you want to contribute, like feel free at any time. So thank you for your contributions. But when you think about like a situation, right, where a guy is like literally like they've got like so much money kind of thing, right? So then like at that point in time, right? So then like you are going to be using the money, right, for different things in order to improve your happiness. Like basically the reason why a person who earns like say 2,000 ringgit may be a lot happier compared to like say somebody who earns like 1,000 ringgit is because like the 1,000 ringgit guy can barely even buy eggs for lunch or anything like that, right? So then, like, maybe that extra 1,000 ringgit enables him to like buy chicken for his entire family or whatever. I don't know, kind of thing. But like, what is it that $400 million? What is it that millions upon millions, billions of dollars, right? Billions of ringgit, like gets you, like when you actually like have that amount of money, right? You get like houses overseas, perhaps because you just don't want to live in Iran. Like, have you considered that? Like, like some people, right? Like they have a very strong feeling, right? About like, I don't know, the revolution or something like that. Like maybe they just like wanna go out there and like become the spiritual leader. Oh, worship me. Oh, pray to me. Oh, look at me, all of you peasants. And in my face, see the very vision of God himself, kind of thing. I think that you would call this shirik, right? Like if you happen to be a Muslim, but like some people, they just want that cult of personality, and like you don't know the kinds of mental gymnastics people can go about, right? In order to say that they are the representatives of God upon the face of the earth, or something like that, kind of thing. But if you want to have like a luxurious lifestyle, kind of thing, then it's kind of like an open question, right? Like, can you really do that? Does he really want to do that? I don't know, man. But like, hey, apparently, like you've got like a brand new supreme leader, so like it's kind of like interesting to think about. I did not go to Cambridge. I went to University of Chicago. That's a different thing altogether. And I'm seeing like lots of freedom for Persian people and lots of like these other like discussions right over here. Thank you for those of you who just dropped by. And we can see right now that this poll has 233 votes, and you are basically saying right there that 39% of you say that it's a good thing, 7% bad thing, very good thing, 42%, and basically very bad thing, 12%, very interesting. All right, okay, I think that we have like some sense of like the numbers right over here. But now let's sort of like think a little bit, right, about what all of this kind of like means right over there. Well, you've got Malaysia and you've got like past, right? Kind of like crying, screaming at the moment. I don't know if like you would say that Malaysia is like, well, crying and screaming kind of thing. Like there are some people in Malaysia who are just like not happy, past notably being one of them. And yeah, like it's allegedly a so-called like solidarity with the Ummah thing. Although basically anybody who is anybody like really knows that like Iran is not like your friend. Like they are like not your ally. If you really are following like what Malaysia has determined as like correct, right, in terms of like belief in the religion of the Federation, right? Then like you would not be like supporting Iran. Maybe like you could go at it from the point of view of like, ooh, like stop the pen ja jas, that kind of thing right there. But I don't think that that's like very convincing, really. And for those of you, right, who think that like Allah is just like a minor thing je, tentulah Malaysia akan support. Kita kan negara yang ada solidarity dengan negara yang menentang, negara baruah laknatullah Israel dan juga America, that kind of thing right there. Um, so in this case, right, I think that like that's not really something that you can like say with like a lot of confidence because for those of you who don't really remember, right, I am going to remind you, right, of this. Anybody remember this? Yep. Anyone remember him? Think about it. Look at this. All right, you know what? Like, if you don't remember this face at the moment, that's Amri Chemat. But if you don't remember this face at the moment, maybe you remember this one. See this? Raymond Cole. Yeah. Raymond Cole disappeared. Amri Chemat disappeared. Why did Raymond Cole disappear? Raymond Cole disappeared because allegedly he was being inconvenient. He was spreading Christian teachings to people who happen to be Muslim, which is not legal in this country. But Amri Chemat was basically a Shia, right? Like, and he was basically spreading Shia teachings, which is not allowed. And apparently, like whoever was out there, like felt strongly enough to like just be all like get rid of him, essentially along the way. And like that is actually like what happened out there. So now you don't really know, right? Like why exactly like they chose to do that, but you can guess, right? That like anything that basically goes against like religious harmony, right? Or at least their interpretation of harmony, right? Because like disappearing people isn't really something that you might imagine would like really contribute to harmony in any like meaningful way. But they felt strongly about him enough and what he was teaching to basically like say, hey, like stop, that kind of thing. And that, right, is the actual underside, right, of like what people are feeling about like Shias, at least like amongst the elites at that particular time. I don't know about like right now, but like I would guess, right, that like basically any like sort of like celebration that you're gonna be hearing right there is only gonna be like a partial celebration. It's gonna be all like, oh, solidarity. Oh, but they are not really our friends. Even if they happen to inspire you, even if they inspire your Abim or whatever have you right there, they are not really your friends. So like yeah, it's just something to consider amongst like the entire set of people out there who are yeah, it's just like another thing to consider along the way. All of you who are popping by to the Discord, thank you for popping onto the Discord. Hello, hello, hello. And you can see like the little waving messages right over here. Thank you for dropping by and let's hang out. Like, feel free to use like shower thoughts. If you don't use shower thoughts, I am going to just say that you don't take any showers. And oh, by the way, like, this is something interesting to note right here. Like, even if this happens, right? Even if the Ayatollah like have actually been killed, right? And basically have not actually been killed, have not actually. Okay, I need to reword this right here. Okay, uh, they could make statements. Okay, the presence of statements. Okay, the presence of statements is not an indication that they are actually alive because deepfakes are possible. All right. Yeah, and Honestly, guys, like this has been like the most misinformation rife like time really in the past like couple of days, right? It's been a time when my own personal plausibility mechanism was actually overcome to the point that like I had a conversation just yesterday and then I reported something that was like actually news, it was unconfirmed, and I reported it as fact. And yeah, so like I went ahead and apologized to the person that I actually went and said it to, right? Because like I didn't like check it up like well enough. But like there were literally multiple like news outlets, right? They were saying that like, hey, the Supreme Commander of like Iran's military, right? Amir Hatami was basically killed, right? But then later on, then there was a statement that came out that actually he was not. But I guess today's events kind of show a very different development altogether, which, as it turns out, has been confirmed. But anyway, yeah, when you sort of like think about like what's been going on right here, it's pretty clear that this is going to be like a huge focus of like everything that's going on at the moment. Cause yeah, Sapoops, like the Islamic Republic or the Shia Republic, in case you don't agree that Iran is actually like Islamic in any meaningful way. But the Shia Republic essentially has been attacked, damaged. Has it ended? I think this is something that we need to sort of like evaluate a little bit more closely, right? And we're gonna use this time that is remaining to do a little bit of a short poll, right? To ask, to ask, to ask. All right, so end poll for this first poll along the way, and we're gonna ask right now. Okay, so now poll: Is the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei the beginning of the end of what is called the Islamic Republic of Iran? All right, so then, okay, maybe I'll just like say the Islamic Republic of Iran. Yes and no. No, maybe. Actually, you know what? Let's not say maybe because like I think that's something to go right ahead and wow, how do I cancel this? Okay, yes. Is the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei the beginning of the death of the Islamic Republic of Iran? Go right ahead and vote. And vote, 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 vote. Vote, 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 vote. All right. So wow, I'm just like looking at like the poll results right now. So like you've got like, I don't know, like 263 of you voting, 41% saying it was a very good thing, 38% good thing, and so on, so forth. All right, now what have people been saying? I'm sorry I haven't been keeping up with comments, sapoops, but this is what is actually going out right over here. Anyway, yeah. I don't know about like common sense on the internet, Astra. I mean, like you have to be aware, right? That like just because you're watching me right now and like there are like I don't know like 100 people watching at the moment, it doesn't mean that like I am representative. It doesn't mean that the people who are drawn here are representative of like the entire internet. Some people might say that like, hey, this channel, right? Like it serves people who like like prefer a situation where the Ayatollah is taken out of commission. And like that is possible, right? And you can say that it's because people are more rational. You can say it's because they're biased or anything like that, right? But like I encourage you to not just like make conclusions of what you see the audience here like saying. You can do that once this channel actually grows. So make sure to like, share, subscribe, and to get your friends to go right ahead and participate in these conversations. If you enjoy them, you are also most welcome to go right ahead and support me at any of the channels that I have identified in the little thing down below. And yeah, so thank you for your support and also for your presence in being here as well. Now, so let's have a look at our poll and what people have been saying along the way as we kind of wrap this up at the moment. Let us see. Do. Am I the Aspen goal of Malaysia? Sapoop, sapoop, sapoop. Thank you, sapoop. It's an honor. Anyway, so is it the beginning of the end? 76% of you say yes, 24% of you say no. Very interesting. I don't know if it actually is. I mean, like, for all you know, maybe Mojtaba is going to be a good leader along the way right there. Or maybe like what's gonna happen is that like there's gonna be another strike, maybe like tomorrow, and maybe what's gonna happen is that like his $400 million empire is just gonna come like crumbling down the way that Legos crumble down when a toddler is enraged and happens to knock them all over, kind of thing. I don't know if like that's actually gonna happen, but like it's a possibility. And the toddler may very well be one by the name of a certain, well, Donald J. Trump. And that's what it is. It is what it is. You've got the whole situation right here. And yeah, like I'm sure that there'll be a lot of like different updates that are coming out at the moment. And yeah, so the latest, well, set of stories that we are seeing right here suggests, right, that basically there is a whole set of like clapbacks at the moment. You know, like they are essentially, yeah, like going and attacking back at the moment. There is this whole discussion of like your power vacuum, and you've got yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there right over there. This should be interesting, by the way. Like the man who destroyed Iran. Ooh, okay, that's gonna be interesting right here. But yeah, it looks like NYT isn't like really like down with our good old fashioned Ayatollah Khomeini, so to speak. But incidentally, it is kind of like a coincidence, or maybe it's not a coincidence, that basically this guy right over here is also responsible for the death of Qasim Soleimani like many years ago. That actually was a pretty big thing. And the direct analog of that would have been if wow, you can see this right here. There was a lot of stuff that was going on. But yeah, Amir Hatami, lots of news about that. I don't know if he actually ended up dying, but there has been no actual news. But yeah, it looks like this whole series of attacks has yielded some outcomes. Whether they are good or not for the world remains to be seen. For you know, like Iran could not end up being like that really modern and wonderful place that it used to be. I mean, like for those of you who actually saw like Iran, right, like during the time of the Shah, right? Yeah, like you might have actually seen like that all people were like looking fancy, like they had like nice clothes and stuff like that. They basically didn't really cover their hair. You can say that like that's because like they were like I don't know, Jahil or something like that, but yeah, it was a very different society back then. And for all you know, right, like what could actually end up happening is that they might end up looking a lot more, right, like your Iraq or Libya or Syria, right? Like after regime change, when the US has actually like tried to catalyze a regime change, install puppet or whatever have you right there, it's not usually ended up very well along the way. So if you are Iranian or if you like care about the fate of the actual Iranian people, rather than say the Iranian government or whatever have you right there, I hope that well, Iran as a country is going to find the path that is best for them. So then, if it ends up happening to be, right, like a path that is resonant with the ideals of the Islamic Revolution, then, well, I guess like that's what they actually decide upon. I don't think it's very likely though that they would decide upon it, but like there's no indication that like they're going to actually end up well, and there's no indication that like people who don't like that sort of situation are going to succeed because IRGC is a very big network. And yeah, so like who knows? There is of course that whole claim that like you kill one, then 1,000 more are going to come up. But if America basically gets rid of like that 1,000 as well, then it's an open question along the way, like what's actually going to happen. But yeah, so any thoughts, comments, ideas, last minute discussions or things out there? Anyone have any hot takes before we kind of wrap this up along the way? Ooh, excuse me as I kind of like look at like what's going on here. That is what's going on. Killed, 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 killed. Yeah, we don't know actually if he was like killed, killed, but like, okay, interesting. More Epstein files. And yeah, I guess like this is pretty reliable information at this point. Anyway, yes, comments from people along the way. All right, what do we have right over here? Is it the beginning of the end? 76%. That is what y'all have been casually mentioning. I don't know what you asked, Okov Tiger King. If you can like copy and paste it, then that'll be great. Or you can like come on to another live stream at some later point, and like it could be something that you can ask right over there. And this is what you've got. Yeah, this is what you have. Safi, thank you for popping by. Good to see you. Shafiq, good to see you again. And yeah, this is what's going on at the moment. Anyway, I have things to do at the moment, and it's been an honor to have you all here. And remember, Sapoops, that you should join our Discord. And the link is, of course, in the chat. It is the pinned message, and we would love it if you could basically pop by. Yes, would love it if you would pop by. Join our Discord. 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 Join. Wow, I feel like I could actually like sing a a whole song about that or do a full DJ set. And yeah. Anyway, so